What is up, guys? How is it going today? I'm doing pretty well. So I did the video of the Lost Boys, the Tribe, the second one. Now I'm gonna do the third one, which is Lost Boys Bloodthirst. So I kind of watched them back to back. I did the video in between. When I watched the last one, I was extremely tired afterwards, so I just kind of went to sleep. I was gonna try and do the video while it was still fresh in my head, um, but I went to sleep. So here I am, morning, and trying to do this and remember the best I can. So for this one, it was made in 2010, and Corey Feldman does come out in it, and the other guy that played the Frog Brother. I'm trying to find his name, but I am not finding it. Give me a second. Wait for it. Wait for it. Jameson Newlander. That's his name. So they both actually do come out in this movie. So the way the movie starts is I've lost my train of thought. Son of a bitch. I hate mornings. I'm always at my most retarded in the morning. So it starts out, uh, um, it says Washington, D.C., the other murder capital of the world. I won't dive into that one, but I won't disagree either. So there's vampires attacking this guy, and all of a sudden the door kicks in, and it's the Frog Brothers. They're going to work. So it's a senator, trying to kill a congressman. So they save the guy, and in the process, Alan Frog, the other brother, gets bitten by a vampire, turns into one. So that's where the movie starts, cuts into the movie, and it shows Edgar Frog, no job, getting evicted. He's owing the bank money for the land, and goes into this local comic book shop. Tries to sell his comics. Destroy all vampires, and the guy at the comic book store is trying to lowball him for the comics and whatever. And he's all, "What about that Batman number 14? I can do a good deal on that one." And he's like, "No, no, this has sentimental value. I'm not going to sell this one." So he doesn't sell it, and he knows the girl that works at the comic book store really well. So they kind of get to talking, and about the comic books. He's having flashbacks of the glory days. The Frog Brothers and Sam, which is Corey Haim, and so he ends up leaving the comic book store. He runs into this lady when he gets home that tells him, um, I need your help. My brother's been kidnapped. I think he's been kidnapped by vampires. Yeah, are you Edgar Frog, the vampire hunter? So kind of back and forth between him and her. Basically tells her to get lost. He doesn't want to take the job. So um, the other brother isn't apparent in this movie. You don't know anything yet until he actually goes to this abandoned area, where he actually goes to see his brother and tells him about this job, what's going on. These vampires are, they're luring people in and using this new party drug, which is some kind of ecstasy mixed with vampire blood, and at the same time turning people. So that's kind of where the whole story thing is going. And tells the brother, "Hey, I can't do this without you." And he goes, "Well, there's nothing for me. I'm a vampire. I can't go out into the daylight. What am I gonna do? I'm just gonna stay here. But if you do go, just be careful out there." And that's kind of where they part ways. So Edgar Frog does track the lady down and decides to take the job. So he takes the job, and he's being paired up with this reality TV star that hunts wild animals, predators. So that dude's taking it as a joke. He doesn't believe there's any vampires, and so yeah, they pair up together, and they figure out where this rave's going to happen, where all these vampires are going to get together and sacrifice the brother that's missing, because the girl, don't know if I mentioned that or not. I probably didn't. I'm sorry. The reason why she hired him is because her brother got kidnapped by vampires. Yes, I did. I mentioned it. And so they found the location. They go down there. They get in. The first trip in doesn't go so well. They lose the guy that hunts all the animals, and Edgar Frog gets stabbed, with a sword. So they got to get out, regroup, and they go back in. And this time, the girl that hired him, goes with them because he didn't want her to go on the first initial run. So they all go in together. It's him, the girl from the comic book store, the girl that hired him, and the cameraman for the Predator guy. So they all go in and take one last crack at it, and they end up going after this vampire that's supposed to be the head vampire. So they're killing a bunch of vampires in between. When they get to this one, they battle with him. Edgar Frog's fighting him, and it's at that critical point where he's about to die because he's losing, and Alan Frog shows up to save the day and help him out. So they tag team him and kind of kill him, or they do kill him. And that's that. But he turns around and tells him, I don't feel any different. Usually when you kill the alpha vampire, all the other vampires will go back to normal. So it doesn't feel right. The lady that came for her brother is over there trying to untie him and this and that, and they're pulling all these hoses out of him. They're like the IVs, and when she pulls him out, the other girl from the comic is helping her, and she smells one of the syringes. It smells like garlic. So everybody's gears are turning and thinking, what the hell does this mean? And then they put two and two together that this kid was the alpha male vampire, and this vampire was doing a ritual basically to steal that title so he can be alpha and create new vampires under himself and take all his power and stuff like that. So um, that's what was going on, and this girl was helping to get him out so she could become immortal. So once they find out, the guy gets his powers back after they pull all the IVs out. He ends up killing the girl that helped him, that hired Edgar Frog. Um, she doesn't get what she asked for, so she's gone. And hold on one second, smoke break. And so she gets killed, and they start fighting the vampire, and this ending was a little bit better than the second one because at least they killed him, a little bit more uniquely. So they're fighting him, and both Frog brothers, and at some point he gets the alpha vampire gets Alan Frog to turn on Edgar Frog. So in the process, he's got him held up to the wall, holding him by his neck, and Edgar Frog pulls out like a water balloon, and he throws it at the alpha vampire, and he's kind of like, what the fuck is this gonna do to me? And then he's in the second movie, he became an ordained minister. So he starts doing his little spiel about turning it into holy water, and all of a sudden the guy just starts melting and boom, explodes. So he explodes. That's the end of that. He's gone, and then everybody turns back to normal. So Alan Frog does get to go back to being a human again, and then they cut to the end of the movie where they show Alan Frog sitting out on the beach, getting a suntan because he's missed so many years of sun. So he's basically, I guess, trying to catch up. Probably going to get skin cancer that way, but whatever. That's on him. So they go back to the comic book store where the girl works, and here comes Edgar Frog in, and she tells me, "Oh, good news! That Destroy All Vampires comic, and I sold it for you on eBay for $500." And he's all, "Oh wow, well that's interesting, and that's awesome." He goes, "But now I'm reading up on all things supernatural, so I'm kind of current with everything." And he goes, "Did you know that werewolves or lycanthropes um, don't change in the full moon? It's just a myth. They they can turn anytime they want. Even in the middle of the day, especially female werewolves." So he's telling her, and she's kind of like looking around, like, "Oh really? Oh, that's great." So she turns around to put a book on the shelf, and you can see her eyes where they turn like a werewolf yellow, and that's kind of where the movie just ends. So I doubt they're gonna make any more movies beyond that. Uh, but yeah, it was an alright movie. I mean, it was kind of 50-50 with the other one. Some cheesy parts, your usual lame jokes and things like that. So it was an alright movie. I mean, both of them together, it was kind of pieced the whole where they were going after the original Lost Boys, which is very iconic. Everybody knows and has seen this. It comes out every Halloween on TV. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much the review on the movie. It was pretty decent. Um, so I mean, if you want to leave any kind of comments or anything like that on the movie, how I did on this review, things like that, go ahead and leave a comment below. I like hearing all kinds of feedback, as I mentioned. If you like the video, go ahead and give it that thumbs up. And if you want to see more content from me, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. And yeah, that's going to be pretty much it for this video. Thank you for watching. And once again, I hope you are having a great day. My day is actually going awesome today because been doing an application for a job at home, which pays a lot more. Um, I've already gone through the third interview today, so all three interviews went fantastic and looks very promising. So that's good. Um, but yeah, I'm out of here. Stay positive and have a good one.